Frank Sanchez. I'm the proud principal of Columbia High School. And today we're going to talk about our brand new schedule for next year. So this is a new modified block rotational schedule, which is easy to say, I think sometimes. We're going to review the benefits of the schedule and also look at what it could really look like in action. Okay. This new schedule, I think, is extremely thoughtfully designed, and it reflects our continued commitment to supporting both the academic success and overall well-being of our students. What we mean by that is that this new modified block format is going to allow us to have longer class periods. Now, not as long as the traditional block, okay? Some of our classes you'll see are 46 minutes in length, while we'll have one much longer, what we call flex period for 71 minutes. We'll have two of those a day. It's what college classes look like. So it helps you prepare for that. And it also adds something that we're actually missing here at Columbia High School. We don't have labs for most of our academic and honor science classes. Those 71-minute periods will give us something that we're missing and actually create labs for all of our classes outside of even science. So beginning next year, students will now be able to take 8 classes, right? 8 classes, select 8 classes, but because of the drop portion of our schedule, only 6 of those classes will be held each day. Therefore, a student will be able to benefit from taking more classes, right? 8, but only see 6, so they'll have less stress. They won't have homework in all of these classes. They'll only have as much as 6 classes worth of homework on any given day. Equally important, it also rotates. This way, students who might have to play sports at the end of the day, or students who sometimes really struggle of coming in on time, won't lose out just always period 1 or period 8, right? It will rotate and kind of spread that challenge, if you will. And just as important, we do all of this without losing conference time. We're not going to have a conference period every day, every single day, but we'll have about 30 minutes 4 out of 5 days a week to have some conference time. So let's actually start and look at this schedule. This schedule has been in the years in the making, by the way. It's not brand new, something that we've been talking about here at Columbia High School, or iterations of this type of schedule for several years. Now that construction has finished, especially in the Commons, we're able now to really think about a schedule that will allow us to have this type of flexibility, but also allow us to have one unit or common lunch period. All students will have lunch at 11:15, and they'll have lunch at that time, and they could eat, for example, in the cafeteria, where we'll be expanding our service points, so there'll be less lines, but also we'll have cafeteria services in the Commons for our juniors and seniors, and we'll actually have space if some students want to eat, still on campus. We'll have the main gym open every day for students who want to eat there. So we'll have 3 large areas for students to be eating. And let's take a look at this schedule. So as you can see, it's created on a 4-day rotational basis: A day, B day, C day, and D day. Each day there are 3 blocks in the morning, and 3 blocks, what we call our PM wheel or block, after a common lunch. We have the 8 o'clock block, the 9 o'clock block, and the 10 o'clock block. Now, in those 3 blocks, the 4 morning classes that you have signed up will rotate through. So that's kind of, you'll see here. So on an A day, you will see your first class that you've selected is 1, then 2, then 3. Notice the 4th class is missing because on that day it dropped. But don't worry, it appears on a B day, a C day, and a D day. And the same thing happens on the A day with the PM wheel. You can see you have your 5th class, your 6th class, your 7th class that you've selected, but the 8th one has dropped. Again, not to worry. Sorry, that 8th class, for example, will appear on the B day, C day, and D day. Notice though the time duration, right? The 8 block and the 10 o'clock block are both 46 minutes, but when your class is here on that 9 o'clock block, that's when it turns into a 71-minute class that really allows that in-depth instructional time. So I will say that notice that the school day starts at 8:20 every single day. That's awesome for high school students who need that little extra time to get to school. They need extra time to sleep. That's what the research obviously indicates. It starts at 8:20 and it ends at 2:55. So what we do now have is a longer instructional day with this new schedule, which is awesome, right? More class, more instruction. But we still don't skimp on conference time. You can see it's a 30-minute conference time if students are interested from 2:55 to 3:20. Now, the buses will be coming in around before 8:20. We'll have our cafeteria open at 7:30 for breakfast. And the busing will end at 2:55. I'm sorry, the busing for the end of school is 2:55, and we'll have busing at that point. Students who want to use the 2:55 conference time or want to go to clubs and meet with other students, that's okay, because we'll also have a late bus run after 3:20 p.m. on every single day. So that's a really nice benefit for this new schedule. Now, let's see what it actually kind of looks like. And one more benefit is that parents will know the entire letter schedule for the entire year from September to June this summer. In fact, I could even give you a sneak peek of what it's going to look like in September, October, November, and December. So again, it's a 4-day rotation, right? So you could see we start school on September 1st this year. Students come in on September 1st, which is an A day. The next day is a B day, a C day, a D day. Now, obviously, the 7th would have been an A day, but because the September 7th is Labor Day, we skip that day and we know the 8th is going to be A. And the same thing goes on and on. Notice that if it starts on a Monday with an A day, it ends with an A day. Again, Yom Kippur is on September 21st. So the 18th is an A day. And then the 22nd, not the 21st, is a B day. This is really important for parents to know so they can start making doctor's appointments or other appointments, knowing what to kind of avoid a student's core classes, right? I think that's a real benefit of this, is to know what the schedule looks like in advance. Now, November 25th is the day before Thanksgiving. That's going to be a D day. It's a half day. That's what the line across means, but we know it's going to be a D day. And therefore, when we come back from Thanksgiving, we start on the 30th, which is an A day. So that's one of the great benefits, is that you kind of know in advance what the schedule will look like. So let's see what the schedule actually looks like in action. So here I am, I'm a sophomore, and I'm going to take 8 classes, but one of those 8 classes is going to be a study hall. Okay, so I'm going to take 8 periods. And you can see I'm taking AP US 1. I'm going to take another AP class, computer science. So I definitely want to have a study hall to help me as a sophomore kind of get used to this rigor. But I'll also take some Algebra 2 honors. I got sports literature. I got French 3 academic, Physics 1 honors, and PE and health. So now, what does this look like? These are the 4 classes in the AM wheel, and these are the 4 in the PM wheel. So it's these 4 that are going to rotate before lunch, and these are the 4 that rotate after lunch. Okay? And you'll notice right away, sports literature and PE health are going to drop on my first day. So here we go. It's 8:20 in the morning. bell rings, and I'm going to AP US History 2. Okay, my next class is a study hall. And then after that, I have Algebra 2 honors. And then I'll have my lunch block. Notice I don't have sports literature. That's awesome, right? So that means although I'm taking 8 classes, I'm definitely not getting homework for all 8 on that day. So I won't have to I wouldn't have had to have the weekend before or whatever the day before was, right? The D-Day coming into A, having that sports literature homework. All right, that was a nice benefit. But the next day, you'll notice I'll have sports literature, right? That's going to be on the first block, and then it shifts to the second block. 71 minutes is awesome. That's going to allow my sports literature class now. We could do different activities. We could have a long extended writing piece time, a lot of different ways the teacher and students can interact. And then on the D-Day, it's shifted here. Notice your study hall also shifts, right? Notice it's on an A day, it's in the second block, but gosh, this is great. I love it when it's in my third block because now I could pair it with my lunch. We're going to allow juniors and seniors to have what we used to call senior privilege, but now we'll call it upperclassmen privilege. And so students will be able to leave the building for that long time period. Or if a student wants to stay here to have lunch, they can go to the library or the commons with that study hall time and then have their lunch. And notice when the study hall is here in the beginning, that is great. Again, upperclassmen will be able to come in not at 8:20, but to come in at the 9:10 block. So a lot of different features with this new schedule. And if you had study hall in the PM block, the same thing would happen if PM was right next to the lunch, butting against the lunch, then you would have a much longer lunch, which is awesome every 4 days. And then on another one of those 4 days, you'll be able to leave earlier. So again, giving you some kind of independence of like what college is like, while still having more instructional time, while still lessening homework. It's, I think, a real win-win for our students. So that's what the schedule looks like on a normal day. You can see what it looks like on a half day. Half day, we have 4-hour schedule. We'll still continue the specific days, like the same periods, if you will. But in a delayed opening, also 4 hours, but we'll still have a lunch that will be added in here. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe this is blocking your view. So, oops, we'll put it over here. Oh, I guess I can't. So that's what our schedule looks like. You have a link if you have any questions. We're looking forward to next week having a forum at night for parents and students to ask questions. This is a very common schedule, and it's exciting opportunity for our students to enjoy this type of schedule and to get started with what looks kind of like a nice college world that they have, but still in the friendly confines of Columbia High School. Hope you enjoyed this little explanation. We wish you a great day.